All right, we are live. It is Thursday, September 24th, and this is our weekly developer check-in for Backdrop CMS. A couple of general announcements before we get started. We do still have free PHP Storm licenses for Backdrop developers, so if you have a module in the Backdrop contrib group or are a maintainer on a module theme or layout, go ahead and send an email to info@backdropcms.org and we can hook you up with a license. We also, thanks to Nate's amazing work last week, got a browser stack account for Backdrop that they do free support for open source projects. So we got an account with, I think we have a handful of concurrent users. So if we need to do any testing across multiple platforms, if you're working on an issue that needs review, we can also give you temporary access to one of those accounts. If you end up using it all the time, we'll probably give you permanent access to one of those accounts. But just the same thing, as needed, send an email to info@backdropcms.org and we can get you set up there. We have a couple of calls for speakers for upcoming Backdrop events. We have our Backdrop Summit, which is October 22nd at Badcamp. Nate and I are going to be doing a talk on kind of the why of Backdrop at the very beginning of the day, but we would love to get a whole bunch of other people up on stage to do other parts of Backdrop talking. So Wes, I've nominated you to do a theme development talk in Backdrop. I'm hoping you're okay with that. I'd originally also nominated Alex to do a module development talk because he's doing a similar talk on porting XML sitemap to Backdrop, but he unfortunately couldn't get Thursday off from work. He only got Friday off from work, so we won't be at Badcamp until the weekend. So he is not up for that, but if anybody else wants to do a talk on porting a module from Drupal to Backdrop, we still need that. So if you're watching this video now or later and you're interested in doing that, it doesn't have to be super in-depth. We're looking for about 20 minutes on what it's like to port a module. So if you ported a module and it took you 20 minutes, you could do the whole thing. Or if you played with one and you think you had, 5 basic concepts you wanted to share with people about what it's like to port modules, we could definitely cover that in 20 minutes. We'd love to have you on stage. We're also hoping somebody could do a quick show and tell style demo, differences between Drupal 7 and Backdrop. Nate and I have done several talks. Nate has done several talks with a demo on differences between Backdrop and Drupal, and it basically involves creating a view, placing it in a layout, exporting everything using CMI, showing off basically layouts in CMI. I would love to have someone else do that, and if you have different experiences about things that you find significantly new and exciting about Backdrop, highlighting those in addition to layouts in CMI would be fantastic. So again, about 20 minutes of somebody just showing off Backdrop would be really great. So we're open to getting that in. And then a headier talk would be how to upgrade your site from Drupal 7 to Backdrop. I'm not sure anyone has done that talk yet, but it would be good to figure out how to do that in 20 minutes. So talking about the things that are significantly different that you'd need to prepare on your Drupal site, like getting it out of features, and then how to actually do the differences, and then things that won't be ported. So like if you have panels in Drupal 7, you're going to have to rebuild those in layouts for Backdrop. So yeah, also if you wanted, that's an interesting topic, trying to do significant differences between Backdrop and Drupal 8 in module development is what Jeff just recommended. That would be fantastic. I don't know. I would be careful to make sure that it ended up staying really positive. So it would be like, here's a Hello World module in Backdrop, here's a Hello World module in Drupal 8, but trying to make it be like, Backdrop is exactly like Drupal 7 versus Drupal 8 is different might end up coming off a little scary. So, okay, good. If you've done that before, that would be fantastic. I would love to get that on the schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. Because what I would imagine is that we're going to get people in the Backdrop Summit who are doing, an evaluation of Backdrop versus Drupal, and they're probably going to end up doing both. And so having that would be really good if it's informational. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the schedule. D8 versus Backdrop. Okay. And then, as you probably can't do it, what? Are you coming to Badcamp? Aw, okay. Well, if your slides are up, we can show them to other people and see if we can find someone else to do a similar talk to. So that's too bad. I thought you were volunteering. I got all excited. I was like, oh, you've done this before, and it was really good. Okay, we'll try and find a volunteer for that. And we're also open to other topics too. If somebody else has anything they think should be done at the Backdrop Summit, let us know. And then a little farther into the future, we have been contacted by the organizers at Drupal Camp Utah, which will be in February next year. So if you love skiing and you want to go check out Park City or any of the amazing places in Utah, they are looking for someone to go and give a talk about Backdrop. They have a couple of perks for that too. If you're a presenter, you're eligible for a scholarship of up to $500 to help offset your travel costs. And if you're sent there by a company, that company can be listed as a sponsor on the website if they're willing to cover travel and lodging for their speakers. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind, especially if you love snow. But that same weekend there is sand camp in the sand. So if you love sand or you're trying to get away from the snow, where you come from, you got options. All right, so that's it for general announcements. We need speakers for Bad Camp and Sand Camp. We have BrowserSec and PHP Storm licenses or access for people. And then, Neat, do you want to go ahead and start on community growth?
Yeah, so let's see. In the Backdrop Contrib world, we now have 157 total projects for Backdrop CMS. There's 4 new ones since last week, it seems. We have 1 new contributor, Matthew, who joined us and made that WordPress menu. Last week we mentioned this as well, but now it's actually in the group. So welcome, Matthew. I don't actually know the accurate count of total number of official releases on backdropcms.org. That's a little bit of a manual counting option or counting procedure, so hasn't been updated.
I did put a views counter on there.
Oh.
So now you can just go to the last page and it'll tell you how many.
Yeah, but there's like projects and there's modules, themes, and layouts, and I have to add them all up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's so tedious.
It's definitely less tedious than counting them all.
Anyway, there's about like 75, 80 projects on backdropcms.org, and those are continuing to get published, and more are showing up all the time, which is just fantastic. Okay, let's go into the next section. Infrastructure. Update checking has been working for a long time, but our accruing of usage statistics is not working on backdropcms.org. If anyone is interested in getting that fixed, you can do a local checkout, a project module from Backdrop Contrib, and then set up a couple of projects on your local host, and then you can actually test out all of the functionality of project module, which is how backdropcms.org itself is running. And our analytics script just isn't functioning correctly right now. It keeps zeroing out all the information. So it looked like we had it running for a little while, and we had some numbers coming in. And I mean, we still have numbers coming in, but just when it crunches the numbers every day, it just somehow wipes them all out and makes them 0. So it would be fantastic if we get that working, because then we would actually know how many Backdrop sites are out there. We know that there's several hundred, but they just keep I mean, if we just keep throwing away the data, we don't actually have the totals on that. So that would be great. It would also make it so that we could sort modules and layouts by usage, so that we could say, show me the most popular modules. Right now, when you go to the modules page, it's just ordered by like date created or something really terrible like that. It would be fantastic if that was sorted by the most popular modules first, same way Drupal.org does. Let's see, Project Browser. We've been working on Project Browser every now and then. Doc Wilmot's been doing some great work fixing issues on backdropcms.org. There was a pull request that is in the queue that can get merged into production in the near future, which will help make it so that Project Browser Server can continue to develop. Right now that's a contrib module, Project Browser, but we're hoping that in Backdrop 1.3, possibly, in 3 months or so, that we might be able to merge that into core to make it so that you could install modules, themes, and layouts from within Backdrop without needing to leave your own site. But that's yeah, that's coming along close, but I'm not sure where the priority is on that. It's kind of like if that gets done, that would be fantastic, but that's kind of a when available feature rather than like a driving feature for 1.3. Drush for Backdrop. Jen, any news on Drush?
I did spend some time playing with it last week. I got to the point where I knew what's going on, but I don't really know how to fix it. So I asked Greg, and hopefully I'll check on it today, and he'll have an answer for me, and then I can go ahead and make some more progress on it. So I'm coming along.
Okay. That's issue number 47 in the Backdrop queue, Backdrop issue queue. If anybody has some additional time or Drush expertise.
Oh, also, Greg said he wanted to sit down and work on it with us both in the same place at the same time, and we promised to do that at Bad Camp. So he made some significant changes to Drush that would allow us to put Drush support in Backdrop the project, but I couldn't get that actually working on my version of, on my fork of Backdrop for that pull request. And so he said that that was funny because it was working for him, and he wanted to kind of sit down and look at my code and figure out why it's not working, which is fantastic because then when I have his attention, I can ask him to look at my other code, which is the actual Backdrop support, and see if we can get anything funny in there worked out too. So yeah, I've got high hopes about getting it going soon.
Okay, cool. So the rest of the primary website, backdropcms.org. Let's see, other items. Let's see, we've got issue number 95 over in backdropcms.org's queue. Oh, and this is just fixes. Like we have this, the listing for modules, themes, and layouts, but they really need some more work. Like we need links to GitHub for all of the individual projects. We need the screenshots to actually show up for themes. There's a whole bunch of issues that need to be addressed regarding the existing Find modules, themes, and layouts. Although it's working, it really needs some more effort. So let's see, other things. Single sign-on for GitHub. Actually, the most important thing that we do in the near future is that we make it so that people can actually log into the website, whether or not that's through a single sign-on through GitHub or standard Backdrop login or some combination. Like it's increasingly becoming an issue that we've got more people that want to be contributing to documentation over on the API website, and right now we're just manually assigning those accounts as people request them. But I think that we could get a flood of potential contributors to our documentation, and being able to manage your own projects on backdropcms.org. All of those things would be big improvements for our community. And there's also been some increasing clamor about doing a homegrown community, even though like we've got Reddit and we've got GitHub, but really people are finding that they, and Stack Exchange, people are finding that they would like a place that is like official, that is a community section for Backdrop. So that may all be happening in the nearish future. But first things first, making so people can actually log into the website, which that's got other things besides just the challenge of logging them in. Like we need to set up roles and permissions and all of that jazz. Okay, other things, yeah, we would like to have like service providers, jobs, event calendar, and that sort of thing on backdropcms.org, but all of that stuff is down the road. Okay, so let's talk about Backdrop. Backdrop the product. So some exciting news, moderately exciting. 1.2.2 came out yesterday. 1.2.2 includes a bunch of fixes for a rich text editor, as well as a couple of performance fixes. It's nice to have that out there. And then we sent out the mailer just this morning for the release of Backdrop 1.2. We meant to do that much sooner, but we had it scheduled, and then it just never really sent out, or we forgot to schedule it, actually, more accurately. So,
but it ended up working out because we got all those fixes in before.
Yeah, but now, yeah, so now we've got all these fixes in, and there's 2 releases. So, also a shout out to BDOBD, who's been filing tickets like a crazy person. It's just fantastic.
Like a fantastic person.
Like a fantastic person, like a bug reporting machine. Yeah, and it's great because he's definitely like a newer user to, it seems like, both Drupal and Backdrop. So it's been fantastic as he just kind of goes out like, yeah, bumper car style, and just kind of runs into like every possible corner and crevice of Backdrop, and sometimes not ways that we would have expected.
Really? Oh, yeah, that's kind of broken. We'll fix that.
So that's been great, and we've gotten lots of stuff fixed. So the next bug fix release is going to be 1.2.3, 1.2.3, and that's just as needed. As we fix bugs and get them solved, then when appropriate, we'll cut a new release for that version. The next minor release of Backdrop 1.3 is the UX release. That's what we have been calling it. It's basically a polishing release where we're trying to fix up all of the existing features that we have that are a little bit rough around the edges, and improve them, rather than like throwing in giant new modules like date and link and email and all of those things that we've done in the past two releases. We're just trying to polish the systems that we've got. So those particular areas of focus, layouts, the rich text editor, converting more admin pages to views, menu UI, and actually we don't have it mentioned here, but there's also some work going on, definitely around field UI and trying to make that a better interface for people as well. Let's see.
I can add that.
Yeah, we'll get that link added to the agenda. We also had a really great discussion about field UI just earlier today. If anyone wants to go back and watch the YouTube video for the design meeting for September 24th, we had a really in-depth discussion on the UX of field UI. And there's some great progress there that Wes has been making some mock-ups, and they look pretty exciting. Okay. That's kind of it for 1.3 and generally where we're heading. I mean, right now, I'll be honest, the focus for me is in bug fixing still. Like, and I think that's a lot of the community right now. Like, there's just a bunch of issues in 1.2 that we're trying to get resolved. And so, as those issues come up, please file tickets. For the tickets that exist for 1.2, let's continue working through them. But then we always want to have that eye out towards the next release, which will be January 15th, 2016, is when 1.3 will be coming out. So we've got a long time before then, so we'll get a lot of issues fixed, but we also want to make some traction on improving the UX of Backdrop before then. Okay. Sprints every single week, kind of on Thursdays. Actually, I've kind of been sprinting every day for like the past couple of weeks. But Thursdays are official sprint day. After the weekly meeting, you can hop to freenode.net and join Pound Backdrop, and that's where we hang out and discuss things live as they're happening. We also have a Reddit channel, reddit.com/r/backdrop, which is our community site for just general chatter and loose communications that isn't issue related. And of course the GitHub issue tracker, which is github.com/backdrop. Okay, let's see. Upcoming events. We have a calendar of everything that's in the agenda. You can get an iCal feed of all Backdrop-friendly events, as well as these weekly meetings and design meetings, so you know when they're happening. We also have some slides that if you're interested in giving a presentation on Backdrop, you can go to github.com/backdrop-ops/slides, and there's a general set of slides there that you can use to modify for your own purposes to talk about Backdrop at one of your own events, a PHP meetup or a Drupal camp or what have you. We've got a whole bunch of events coming up in the near future. Pacific Northwest Drupal Summit, October 10th through 11th, is a Backdrop-friendly event. I'm not sure if are there any talks at Pacific Northwest Drupal Summit on Backdrop? Do you know?
I don't know yet. I can check their website.
Yeah, accepted sessions. Doesn't look like it, but they have stated that they are friendly to Backdrop people. If you would like to go out there and talk about Backdrop, they would totally be open to that. Although at this point, their schedule is set, but you could still do like a birds of a feather talk or what have you. Backdrop Summit, October 22nd, is coming right up. We're planning on having, it's going to be a pretty awesome day. We're going to have swag, we're going to have hoodies, we're going to have t-shirts. It's going to be the first ever full day Backdrop dedicated event. And that will be October 22nd at Badcamp in Berkeley. And it's going to be really exciting. We've got all kinds of talks that we're going to be giving. We are looking for more people to give presentations, so if you have some ideas about a Backdrop talk, please get in touch with us. Email info@backdropcms.org, and we'd love to hear from you.
Also, just to note, the sessions we're doing on Thursday are different from the sessions that are happening on Saturday and Sunday, which are the normal sessions that go through the process of you submit them online and then they get voted on, and then we have to decide which ones to accept and where to schedule them. That's a little different. For the summit, I will look at the one you submitted, Wes, and pull that over if it feels, you know, like we can just steal the copy. That's a good idea. But I'm not sure that they will get accepted for both Thursday and on the weekend. It'll depend on the organizing committee and all of the other talks. But if we have enough quality talks, we won't want to repeat any material. So just heads up on that. Other things going on, I guess, Nate, Drupal Camp Ohio is that same weekend, October 23rd and 24th. So if you are on the other side of the country, closer to Ohio, and can't get to California, that could be a good alternative. We're going to try and do some kind of collaboration between the two. I'm not sure logistically how much it makes sense to try and do like video feeds from sessions of one at the other, but at the very least we will be sprinting remotely and collaborating in core development summit and stuff like that. So a little friends from afar action going on. And then we did already mention Drupal Camp Utah and Sand Camp, which are both February 25th through 27th in 2016. If anyone else has any camps or conferences that you want Backdrop to be a part of, definitely let us know. We can throw them on this calendar. Once we have a community website set up on backdropcms.org, you can add them yourself there. But for now, we're just going to be throwing them on this calendar, and we'll take care of that for you. So send an email to info@backdropcms.org if you want your event added. Or if you're a speaker and you're going to one of these events giving a talk about Backdrop and you want that added, we can do that too.
All right, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
For this meeting. Do we have anything, Jeff or Wes, that you guys would like to add to the conversation? No. Okay.
I want to
All
add
right, well, oh, go ahead, Jen. Sorry.
So we are getting Backdrop t-shirts and hoodies printed for Badcamp. We just talked about them a little bit in the design meeting. It looks like we're going to be asking for donations of $25 for a t-shirt and $50 for a hoodie if you want one. If you are a Backdrop contributor, so likely if you're watching this video, we are going to be giving away t-shirts for free to contributors. So if you're at Badcamp and you're a Backdrop contributor and you want a dragon t-shirt, come to the summit or come find us later on and we'll have one of those for you. If you want a hoodie, we're still going to expect a donation because those are actually pretty expensive for us to get printed. But yeah, we will have them. We should have designs for those by next week, and I'll post them on the website. So if you want to place an early order, you can definitely do that. Go to our website, and there will be a buy a t-shirt button and a buy a hoodie button using PayPal. So if you want either of those, you can place them there. Okay, that was it.
Those buttons don't exist yet, though, right? You're saying
the t-shirt button's there now, but I need to add the hoodie button. It's on the contribute page.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well, excellent. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Lots of excitement in Backdrop land. We will see you guys in IRC and on GitHub. So thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.